Welcome to your latest Forest transfer news. Coming up on today's episode, Nunez from Liverpool to the City ground. Saelemaekers rumours are surfacing. Forest are close to getting Aina to sign, and talks begin with Neco to extend. All this and plenty more coming up today on your latest Forest news. Let's get into it. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well, and welcome back to another transfer update. You know what? I wasn't planning on doing another video today, but the news is moving, so we must keep you informed. So if you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit the like button. Let's see if we can get 888 likes. If you've never hit the like button before, make today the first time. And if you are not subscribed, because 40% of you watching right now, yes, I'm talking to you, are not subscribed. It's free to do. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you check out Football Prizes as giveaway. You can win hospitality tickets for Forest versus Chelsea final day of the season, plus 1,000 billion more prizes as well, all for 39 pence per ticket. 39 pence. Scan this QR code or click on the link in the comments. All right, let's jump into this one. So, as I keep saying to you, rumours fly around during the international break. Now, I know Forest are playing tomorrow. By the way, check out my preview. I'll leave it on the end screen for the Brighton match. We did that this morning for you guys. But still, a lot of teams are still not back. None of the big six minus Man City, if I'm not mistaken, are playing this weekend. So column inches still need filling in. And clearly, people enjoyed the forum yesterday. Make sure you've checked that out as well if you haven't already, where we were discussing about said Liverpool player Darwin Nunez. And then just by coincidence, he's now hitting the headlines to say that Forest are linked with Nunez. Now, this was broken by Rudy, and I'll run you through the article, and then I'll talk to you about how I feel about him. So, let's have a look. It says Liverpool striker Darwin Nunez is increasingly likely to leave Anfield this summer, and there are two Premier League teams considering moves for the Uruguayan international. The 25-year-old, soon to be 26 by the way, has failed to make an impact and handed the opportunity by Slot. It goes on to say, let's talk about who's interested in here. So Forest joined the race for Nunez. Forest are also monitoring Nunez's situation and considering a move for him in the summer. A new striker is a priority for Nuno, and both Gyökeres and Osimhen have been linked with a move to the City ground as of late. If Forest secure Champions League qualification, which they're on track to do, they intend to strengthen in multiple positions. Oh, man, we're going to have a fun transfer window, that's all I know. And so on and so forth. It talks about the other players linked. Now, I believe that the other ones who are being linked to him are Newcastle. I don't know how true that is, but is there, and there's these rumors of Isak to Liverpool. Are they looking to do a swap deal? Whatever. Not really interested here, but in terms of what Newcastle are doing, obviously, because we're here to talk about Forest. So, let's cover this Nunez thing off. Let me give you some stats on him. Firstly, he's 25 years old, soon to be 26. Now, he was making his name at Benfica before Liverpool signed him. I think he played 57 games, scored 32 goals at Benfica. Moved to Liverpool in 2022. And there was this massive hype around him versus Haaland, who was going to be the goal-scoring machine. Well, only one person ended up being the winner there. Now, the reported fee that Liverpool paid for him is about £85 million if you include add-ons. I think it was 64 mil up front plus 15 to 20 mil in add-ons. So Liverpool want to recoup a lot of this money. And there was reports as well in January that Liverpool rejected about a £70 million bid or euro bid from the Saudis for Nunez to go there. So Liverpool want to recoup a lot of money for him. They think he's worth it. Now, at Liverpool, he's played about 88 games, scored 25 goals. His return's not been bad. It's not been what you'd expect, though, from the hype that was surrounding him. And in terms of his attributes, look, he's a good player, but with limited end product is how I would describe him. Some of his finish, I mean, I'll show you a compilation of the crapness that can be Nunez. And let's be real about this. Every single Liverpool fan would drive him down to the City ground on their own tab to get rid of him. Trust me on this. If you can find me a Liverpool fan who backs Nunez right now, I'll be impressed. So let's be real about where things stand here, okay? Now, is there a player in him? 100% there is. Let's not forget the hype he had when he was at Benfica. There was talk about this, pace merchant who could finish, who was big, who was powerful and all this. When he came to Liverpool, man, he was missing open goals from like 2 yards away. I think under the right conditions, you can unlock an absolute beast here. There's definitely a striker within him, but to do that at the risk of the price that Liverpool would want. Now, remember, they rejected 70 million in January. They can't demand that for him outside of the Saudi league. So I think they would want 40 to 50 million pounds. And I think that's way too much for him. Now, their argument be, oh, he's proven and what have you, and scored goals. And, he scored the goal when they cheated against us in that 99th minute. He's got like a little bit of a cult following at the same time within the Liverpool fans, but secretly they all want him out. A lot of them publicly do. I think it's too much. I think he works well under Nuno. He would be like a younger, faster version of Chris Wood. That's why I think he would work. But to risk 60 mil, 50 mil on him, no. Why do I say no? Because you could get Gyökeres for that money. You could get Osimhen for that money. There's a lot of potential. Now, some of you, like Ant, may say, well, you know what? Yeah, we could get Gyökeres for that fee, but Gyökeres maybe won't join Forest. Or maybe Osimhen won't join Forest. With Nunez, he could join Forest. He may join Forest. And he's scored goals in the Premier League. I get that. But I'm just saying, if I'm putting things in line, he's not ahead for me of Gyökeres or an Osimhen right now. And some will say, oh, you're being conceited and what have you. Yeah, you're damn right I am. I got 2 stars to be conceited with. That's why I can be conceited, right? So, would I take him? Yes. The price has to be we've pulled Liverpool's pants down price. Like, I'm talking 25, 30 at a push, max 35, something like that. I'd do it. Now, remember, Nketiah, or however you say his name, Eddie, he went for 30 million. And he's like the definition of the Premier League's worst striker currently. And by the way, thank you, I was right on him and why Forest shouldn't get him. So he's a striker who can't strike. And he hasn't struck this year for Palace. I think he's got like 1 league goal and the odd cup goal as well. So Nunez, who has scored goals, like if you use that base, is what I'm trying to tell you. That base of nothing, of crapness. Crapness costs you 30 mil if they're Prem proven. So Nunez, who would be classed as above crap, you're looking, as I say, as a minimum of 50. So let me know your thoughts on Nunez. Would you take him or not at Forest? All right, let's move on to our next story, and that's on Saelemaekers. I don't know how to say it properly. It's maybe a Belgian accent. Oh, no, it's French. Anyway, Alexis, I'm going to go with, has been linked to Forest and Newcastle. It looks like Forest and Newcastle are holding hands in these transfer rumour speculations at the moment. It says here that Alexis is amongst the best performing players at Roma and with the least certainty of remaining there because he's currently out on loan from them. Belgian arrived in the summer with Tammy Abrahams after being sidelined for 2 months with an ankle injury. He has forcefully successfully taken to the starting lineup. So he's been performing extremely well for Roma. Thanks to his versatility, he's arrived to play as a left winger. He's established himself as a right back and guaranteeing balance and quality. Roma have no right of redemption, aka Roma don't have an obligation or an option to buy him, so he will have to go back to Milan and they would need to negotiate with him. Other contenders who are interested in him from the Premier League are Newcastle and Forest. They've sounded out the waters for the Belgian, who could be useful, blah, 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 Champions League, etc. Right? So, what's happened here? Well, firstly, let me tell you a little bit about the player. So 25 years old, AC Milan. Then he went to Bologna on loan from AC Milan. Then he's gone to Roma on loan from AC Milan. And he's been this guy who's just been like the wandering turnip. Let's just see if Rob is watching, He's just wandering around, can't find a home to settle into, but is a very good player. Great dribbler on the ball for me. Very tight with the ball. He can really dribble it well. We were linked with him, I think it was in the summer. There's probably a video back in the day where he was linked. Worth about £15 million. And I don't know if Roma are going to want to keep him. I don't know if he will want to stay at Roma, but it's another winger who is versatile. And I think that's important when it comes to Champions League and squad depth. Now, does he get in ahead of, say, Callum Hudson-Odoi or an Elanga on either wing? Probably not. Would I prefer Yilmaz over him? 100% I would. But as a squad player who can work well, and if it is going to cost about 12 to 15 million pounds, it's not a bad one to do. And what I like about him is that wherever he's gone, he's had to work himself into the team. And he does eventually get himself in there. And that would be, for me, what he would have to do if he came to Forest. So we would get someone who's motivated to prove himself and find himself a home. Now, what you could say is because he's been on loan to Bologna, because he's been on loan to Roma, there's nothing that's stopping him from going out on a season-long loan again come the end of the year. So Forest could pick this up on a loan deal, which I think would not be a bad one. But does he excite me? Not to the nth degree, not to a Yilmaz style or something like that. But I wouldn't be against him. What do you guys think? All right, so let's move on to some important news about my boy Ola Aina, who is set, it seems, to sign a new contract with Forest. And, after all the speculation, after all the links to Man City, Liverpool, because they've lost Trent, and many, many other clubs, it seems like I was right again. Yeah, I was feeling a little scared on this one, but, trust your sources, as they say. And as I told you guys back in December, January time, the message I got was, don't worry about Ola. It's going to be fine. Yeah, well, I've been sweating it out for a while. Look, the expectation now is that he's going to sign a 2-year contract with an extra year's extension, so 2+1. Now, for those of you who don't know what that means, it means that the club can trigger a further year on there. And as we said to you way back when in January or December, even though the club had the option on an extension now, that was just going to trigger another year. And then we were going to be back in this situation again next year. So it just made more sense to tie him down more long term so we don't have to keep having this Ola Aina video. Look, as you guys know, he's currently my favorite player in the squad. But I get so sick of every year having to talk about his bloody contract and is he going to stay or go? So the expectation now is that we should get a reveal on this probably sometime in April. That's going to break the Man City Hearts fans, the Liverpool Heart fans. It's going to put a smile on all our faces. But just trust me when I tell you not to worry about it. I wasn't worried at all. So good news on Ola Aina. So hopefully that gets sorted and revealed in the next few days. That would be perfect. Now, on the other side, or technically you could say on the same side, you got Neco Williams. And reports are now coming out that Neco Williams is going to be opening up talks to extend his stay and his time at Forest, which I think is fantastic news. If you said this to me a year ago, I'd have said, get rid. He's been a dud, right? If in the summer, remember he was linked to Atalanta, I think off the top of my head. I was like, get rid. Ever since I saw him in that Blackpool match, okay, it was a couple of years ago, but my God, it was one of the worst performances I've ever seen from a player ever. And I've seen some crap in my time at Forest. But under Nuno, this guy is like going up my pecking order of favourite players, man. I've been so impressed with him, and he definitely should get a new contract, in my opinion. Now, remember, the other thing is, he was a big outlay for Forest. We spent, I think, £17.5 million on him the season we got promoted. And when you've been comparing him to how much we spent on Ola, which was zero in terms of transfer fee, Neco Williams had to live up to a certain level. So he hadn't performed for me under the whole Cooper era, apart from little kind of patches here and there. But I think under Nuno, he has been sensational, and he's even started to add goals into his game. So well done to him, and well done to Nuno in seeing what I saw a year ago and said play him on the left. But anyway, I can't always be right on everything, can I? So that I expect to happen. I expect Neco Williams to be more than happy at Forest. There are still clubs that are very interested in him, though. So there could be some clubs who come in for him. I mean, could you imagine now Liverpool have lost Trent, and this was one of their boys, isn't it? We got him from Liverpool. Liverpool maybe want him back there, but I think he won't go. I think he'll stay at Forest. So we'll keep you posted as soon as that is all signed, sealed, and delivered. And that, ladies and gents, brings you up to date with your latest Forest news. Go check out the preview for the Brighton game if you haven't seen it already. You've also got the Forest Forum from yesterday. You've also got my predictions on the FA Cup matches over on the Footy Network. Please make sure you're subscribed there as well. And then we've got the little thing called the match tomorrow, the big one, over on this channel. So make sure you join us if you're not going to the game. If you haven't already, please make sure you've hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. We'll see you on the watch along. Come on, you Reds.